my daughter and my only child. She died age 13 from a brain tumour. It was a high-grade glioblastoma. But Evie was tall. She was 5'7½", even though she was only 13. She had this amazing golden strawberry blonde, I think is what they called it, hair, which went right the way down to her waist. She was clever. She had an academic scholarship to her secondary school in Bath. She swam for her local club. She was best at butterfly. She played the saxophone. Evie started getting headaches and she was occasionally sick and was a bit sleepy. And then once she'd been sick, she was actually fine again. And so we didn't know what it was. But we knew we were going on holiday to Spain for the October half term. And we thought that we'd better take her to the doctor just to make sure that she was okay to go. And the doctor diagnosed puberty-related migraines and said actually it would be a good idea for her to go on holiday. And she got worse and worse on the ferry. So that night we took her into the children's A&E hospital in San Sebastian, and the next morning they diagnosed the brain tumour, and that the next night they operated. And we were in hospital in Spain only for a week before they flew us back to Bristol Children's Hospital by air ambulance. She stayed in Bristol Children's Hospital for a month, and at that stage they told us that she wouldn't survive, that with chemotherapy and radiotherapy we might have her for 3 to 6 months. And we thought that wasn't fair on Evie to give her false hope. So we asked if we could bring her home, and we brought her home. And we brought her home at the end of November, and she died on the 11th of January. So she was at home for 6 weeks. It mattered that Evie was at home. She was desperate to be at home with her cats, with her toys, with her familiar things. It meant that people could come and visit her, that her friends could come and visit her whenever they wanted to. It meant that we could feed her whatever she wanted. She was comfortable and she was pain-free, but she was at home. We were fortunate because we live in Wiltshire and Julia's House Hospice is very close. We also had amazing nurses from Young Lives versus Cancer. We also had an amazing hospital team in Bath, and our GP was brilliant. So it all combined together to really help with that. I think that the care at home, the palliative care at home, needs to not just be generic care, but it needs to be focused so much on the specific needs of that child. So Evie was a 13-year-old girl, but becoming a young woman, and she was a child in some regards and was quite happy playing with Fimo or playing with mosaic beads. But at other times she wanted almost more stimulation. She wanted to talk to somebody properly. The primary need for Evie, though, would have been a child psychologist, somebody to just talk to her, to help her understand what was happening and to stop her from being so frightened. Because Evie didn't want to frighten us and she didn't want to talk to us. I think also it's a really silly thing, but personal hygiene. And it was a nightmare to wash her hair. And as I said, she'd got this really, really long hair, and we kind of really completely struggled to wash it. And that was quite important to her. And silly things like painting her nails. we were doing that and it was lovely, but it would have been a treat if they'd had a spa or something like that. As far as the care was concerned, I think we were okay, but it would have been helpful to have had somebody perhaps who could advocate on the parents' behalf. We would ask questions, but we were so focused on looking after Evie that we sometimes didn't think about peripheral things, and people who were struggling even more than we were really would perhaps could have done with somebody to advocate on their behalf and to think about the questions they should be asking, and perhaps someone also to help the parents understand what they were going through as well. It is really making the care, the palliative care, specific for that child and that family. So like a tailor-made package as well as the generic package. I think that's what is so important.